Hey guys, what is up, and I welcome you to a new League of Legends video. As new big patches are rolled out by Riot, of course a lot of champions become stronger, but at the same time a lot of champions become weaker. So with that being said, I'm here to present you guys another top 5 list of the AP middle champions that I believe are very good for solo queue. Before I begin, first let me tell you what I'm basing it off of. More or less, I'm just simply basing it off of what I personally think and what I see from competitive play and solo queue play, which champions are not only picked the most, but which just have a large impact throughout the game and put a lot of pressure on the enemy team. On top of this, I also quickly want to say that I will be releasing a top 5 underrated AP middle lane champions in the future, very shortly actually, so if you do not see your favorite champion that you'd love to play middle in this video, don't fret because you might see that champion in that next video. So without further ado, let's go straight to the number 5 spot. I'm giving this one to the champion you have been seeing, Lulu. In my previous video where I listed the top 5 champions, I rated Lulu as the number 1 champion. However, they did nerf her Pixie in terms of how long it can last on an enemy champion, which I honestly don't think is the biggest nerf. I mean, sure, it does obviously make her weaker, however, not by a whole lot. But then there was also an indirect nerf to Lulu and a lot of other champions, which was the Lichbane nerf, which I also don't think is extremely detrimental to her. She still has an amazing kit and still honestly does exactly what she did before, just not as good. Which is why she is still on this list, however, at the number 5 spot. Still has a lot of CC, great control in teamfights with her W, with her E, with her Q slow, and even the ultimate HP and AoE slow. Very good lane pressure, the Q range is extremely long if you combine it with the E properly. Really strong poke on that. And of course, she's pretty hard to gank and kill, especially after she hits 6, because most Lulus will run the summoner heal, which complements this anti-assassin meta so well on champions like this one. But on the contrary, of course, the cons, her Pixie did get reduced in terms of duration, and she does not have any flat innate burst. However, she does have good damage and CC. Going to the number 4 spot, I will still continue the trend and list more champions that fit this new meta, which is again the anti-assassin meta. The reason I say it's the anti-assassin meta is because a lot more support champions are being seen in the middle lane, and the summoner heal spell is extremely strong right now. And the fact that heal removes the ignite debuff, which reduces healing by 50%, it makes Soraka that much more deadly. A good Soraka, whenever she's ganked or even trying to save an ally, can always pop the heal, remove the debuff, and then go all out on the heals with her W and her ultimate. So just from the fact that she can heal people so immensely from her W and her ultimate because of the AP that you get from obviously being an AP mid champion, her Q is extremely good in the laning phase. It has extreme damage, pushes the lane very fast, making it very hard for the enemy champion to sometimes CS under turret. And she also, don't forget, has that ultimate in the lane, so she can always help other lanes as well. And then on top of this, her silence is extremely useful in a team fight. Just silence a high priority target, make them unable to cast spells, focus them down before they can even do anything, and bam, it's a pretty much free kill. But now imagine that if you also have AP scaling and damage on that E as well, the silence, making it very strong. The cons of Soraka is, of course, she does not have much burst damage. She has a lot of sustained damage, however, with her Q. She does not have any hard CC, just a silence from her E, and she does have 0 built-in escapes, but she does not really need them as she can tank a lot of damage, especially with her heals and the new summoner spell, Heal, that removes the debuff. Overall, a pretty good spot for a champion that fits very well into the current meta. Coming in at number 3 is going to be another champion that I did list in the previous top 5 AP mid episode. And that is of course our favorite Yordle in the middle lane, Ziggs. This champion has more or less been untouched. They nerfed him very slightly, reducing the auto attack range I believe, just to try and prevent the amount of harass he can do in lane. Which honestly is good, but I feel like the main harass does come from just his spells and not so much his auto attack. His auto attack is more of a complementary skill to his already really annoying long range burst. Meaning that if you are able to get the auto attack on the enemy champion for more harass, then that's good. If you can't, it's still pretty good regardless with your Q, your E, and your W. So overall, Ziggs does have huge poke, which is really big in this meta as well. Like I said, anti-assassin. It's all about either being super durable and hard to kill like the supports with shields and heals, or just having a lot of range, not letting assassins or anyone really get too close to you and able to kill you. Ziggs is one of the best champions to consistently dish out a lot of damage at a long range, which as a result makes him a strong laner, makes him a very strong pusher, and even better, if you're ever behind, which honestly, come on, it happens a lot in solo queue, Ziggs is one of the best champions to clear waves very quickly and prevent the enemy team from pushing into your turrets. And of course, Ziggs still has the immense teamfight presence with all of the AoE skills that he provides. The cons of Ziggs, of course, he is a purely skill shot oriented champion, meaning if you can't land the skills, well, I mean, you will be pretty useless. And on top of that, as any other really AP middle laner, other than maybe the first place spot that I will mention in a bit, he is relatively squishy, and if you get right onto him, it can be somewhat easy to kill him. The number 2 spot is actually going to be given to LeBlanc, who of course is an assassin mage. The reason she is getting the spot, even though this meta, like I said, is somewhat anti-assassin, is because she's so good at closing the gap and just bursting people down before they can even react. From what I remember, her kit from the last video where I listed her, it has been more or less untouched. She is still one of the best AP middle champions in the game, simply due to just the amazing kit that she has. She has amazing burst in her kit, great mobility, great CC if you use the chain or even your chain and then the ultimate chain. She's a very hard champion to deal with because again, not only does she have amazing damage, she can lock people down, she can get away pretty easily and make very nice looking jukes. She has one of the strongest laning phases in the game just from the sheer pressure that she can provide. And mid to late game, she can easily get free pickoffs, go to the backline, kill a squishy, get out instantly with the second part of the W or ultimate, whichever she uses, and overall, an amazing kit for a champion that has not been touched and still remains to be one of the most feared champions in the middle lane. The cons of LeBlanc is like any other assassin, if she gets locked down, she will die relatively quickly, but at least she has the passive which can trick people a bit. And the other con is that she is not the easiest champion to play, I believe, in the higher ELO when it comes to mid and late game because you need very quick fingers and know exactly what you're doing to pull off her combo very quickly and get out before you get locked down and bursted as well. And finally, jumping to the first place spot that I believe to be the most OP champion in this meta for solo queue and just gameplay in general. That champion is no other than Nidalee. Like I said, this meta is all about either just being extremely sustainable and unkillable or having extremely strong pressure from far away with great poke. But now I ask you this, which of the two does Nidalee provide? If you guess both of them, then you are correct. Not only does Nidalee have one of the best pokes in the game, the spear of course, which if you land one of them at max range, somewhere around the mid game or even early game if you're ahead, it can be completely game changing, and that spear alone can be the difference from being able to siege a turret and get it and not being able to. But on top of that, she also brings a heal, one that also increases attack speed, which is perfect for either herself or the ally ADC, or I guess marksman in this case. This champion I believe honestly has the best poke in the game. She is extremely mobile with her ultimate, just easily leaping over walls and walking to lanes, being able to put more pressure in more of the map more efficiently than most champions. She of course does have that heal, which helps her weak laning phase a lot. Her W is amazing in human form for traps because let's be honest, Vision wins games in solo queue and just in general. Very difficult champion to deal with. The only way to deal with her is just simply diving as fast as you can into the whole team because Nidalee is the weakest whenever you dive and close the range. But that is unfortunately a lot easier said than done. The cons of this champion is that she obviously does not have any CC, and again, she is primarily skill shot oriented. And on top of this, like I said, she has a somewhat weak laning phase from levels 1 to 6, but the heal does help that out just a little bit. Overall, this champion has so much pressure provided for a lot of mobility and just one of the best kits in the game for this current meta. She is my number 1 choice for you guys to pick up and learn if you want to play solo queue and if you want to try and carry those games. So that is it for this video guys. Those are the top 5 AP mids that I believe are the strongest for this meta and this patch. Like I said at the beginning, I will make another video talking about what I feel are the most top 5 underrated AP mid lane champions. Champions that I personally feel are very strong but are just not seen often, whether it's in solo queue or just the competitive scene for whatever reason. So if your champion was not on this list, definitely wait for that video and maybe you'll see them there. But as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please throw in a like if you did. Write in the comments if you have any questions. I'll try to answer as many as I can. And I really hope to see you guys for the next episode. Peace.